Hi, good morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's it going, Sabrina?
It's great. So I'm Sabrina Gallier, the co-founder of FITS, and I'm here today with Samantha Torres. We are doing the series of videos about financial talks, and today we're going to be talking about P&L, profits and loss. So, Sam, what is the most basic things and thoughts that people need to know about profit and loss before they start doing it?
So your profit and loss statement is basically going to dictate how profitable your business is. So here you can organize like, okay, how much money am I actually generating, and what are my expenses subtracted from that, and what's kind of left over. So why this is so important is because if you're trying to kind of branch off and do this full time, you want to make sure that your net income is enough to sustain your lifestyle and be able to pay for all of your expenses. So sometimes I think we miss the expense part, and we're like, okay, why are we not making money? And it's like, okay, it costs money to actually run a business.
Yeah, I think that's very important for us independent business owners, independent professionals, because we tend to see the money coming in of the account and we tend to overlook all these small expenses. So, driving places, and, the cost of doing business, buying materials, and that all adds up. So, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have a profitable business, but also that you are investing on the areas where you can make the most money. With a good connotation because you're offering your services and you want to make sure that you're offering services to more people in a way that is also abundant to you. So, um, do you have files, tips, or anything you want to share with us
Yeah,
today?
I think an awesome tip is like if you can keep your expenses to about 30% of your revenue, especially as an independent contractor, while you're still small, I think that that'd be awesome. So I can definitely talk a little bit about how to calculate that, but I had put together an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, get it right on the first time. Um, so, can you
I
guys
can
see
see
that?
you. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Perfect, perfect.
So you're
So
talking about 30% of your expenses. How much would you say people need to save for their taxes so they're not surprised by the end of the year or the end of the fiscal quarter?
yeah, so at the end of the year, because you are self-employed, you are responsible for roughly 25% of the money that you're bringing in taxes. Because you're self-employed, you have to pay for your own medical Medicare tax, and then your well, when you add it all together, it's called a FICA. So an OS something is what makes up the two of them. So being a W-2, your employer takes care of that. So being self-employed, you have to take care of that. And I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. So it's 2.9 and then 13.45. So that's what's going to make up your taxes, and on top of that, your state tax as well.
Great. So why don't just jump in and explain to us this beautiful spreadsheet that looks so complicated like that?
Yeah, so what's really, really cool, it's actually really easy. So we can just figure out how much money we're making on a daily base. So like, for example, in January, on the 1st of January, you taught, one class and you made $100. So you kind of just plug in $100 there. And then let's say you didn't teach for another 5 days and then you made another $100. And let's just say your business takes off and you just make $100 every day after that. And then you make $100 throughout the year of that same day, moving forward. So now we're getting some numbers in here. And let's say you teach a group class or a workshop. That's not something that happens every single day, but you can kind of track that on a monthly base. And let's say, you teach a group class and you're making $200, and then you teach a workshop later down the year and you make $2,000. So now you see your income starts to go up, your total income. And then from here, we can start to put in our expenses. So our expenses for January, some people have to pay for rent, whether it's rent for a studio or rent for space. You can kind of just plug in those numbers here and so forth. I'm just making these numbers up. Some of the people that I work with have staff. So that's also a nice thing to kind of add in there. Medical insurance, and then other expenses too. So like your cell phone, the apps that you use, whether it's MindBody, any internet services, any music, meals and entertainment, long distance, like if you're traveling a lot of miles, that kind of stuff, and any trainings that are outside of your, initial trainings. I know for yoga, your yoga teacher training 200 hours does not count as an expense, but any ongoing training does. So let's say you invest in another training here and you start adding more expenses here.
So when does a training become an investment versus an expense?
Technically, it's an investment in your business, right? Because now you have this knowledge, but it is an expense when you're looking at it from a profit and loss statement. Now, it can also be a washed out expense if you didn't get any value from it, then because it's also not helping you generate more income. So oftentimes we want to have like all this knowledge that we don't really want to move forward. And at the end of the day, we're just spending all this money building the knowledge, but we're not actually taking action and implementing stuff.
Great.
So from here, we have, our total expenses. And then if we look at this number down here and we subtract this number, that it's going to give us your net income. So that's basically the profit from your business. And some people talk about, paying themselves a salary. So why that's really cool too is because you got to figure out how much it costs for you to live your lifestyle. And that's technically your salary. So if you want to be having a profitable business, you're going to deduct your salary. So let's say you want to pay yourself, this is a really bad example, but maybe $100 a month in the month of January, then your business profited you $550 that month. But let's say you start to get crazy and you want to get paid, $700 on a month that you only made $100, then your business lost $600 that month. Does that make a little bit more sense?
That makes total sense, especially if you make goals for yourself. So let's say, by the end of the year, in regular world, because we live in California, you want to be making $4,000, $5,000 a month. Then you could really just start projecting how much revenue you need to be bringing in. So how many classes you need to teach, how many workshops, how many events you want to have throughout the year, so you can close the year while having that, steady income versus just trying to make it work without having any knowledge on what the actual cost is. Because if you want to make more money, typically it costs a little bit more money too. So if you want to have bigger events, you need a bigger venue. You're going to have to pay rent. If you're doing retreats, then most likely also have to have food involved, maybe a full menu, maybe not. But definitely there's costs involved with making all this work. And I think the most important part is to have the data, have the information. It's so hard to run a profitable business when you don't have the data, when you don't look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, right? So
yeah, the math does not lie. And what's really cool is like you were saying, if you want to grow and expand your business, like any business consultant you meet with, the first thing they're going to ask you for is a profit and loss statement, because they want to see what is the inflows and outflows of your business after you obviously pay yourself first, and what are the numbers that we have to work with. So that's the really cool part. I like, part of my job is the analytics, which I tend to nerd out and love. So I kind of also put this together, just trying to figure out, how many classes or how many clients or what is it that we need to do to actually be making the amount of money that we want to be making. And it's like we said, it's just math. So I kind of put this together. So if you put your like hourly rate on here.
Explain that a little bit more, because you're just going too fast.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
This is the first time I'm looking at this too, so I'm super curious.
Okay, so let me just zoom in a little bit. So here, let's say you put in, okay, like this year I want to make $95,000. Just throwing a number that gross income. Okay, we have our tax holdings, so that's how much money we'll be paying in tax. So in reality, we need to be making $114,000. Okay, let's say your hourly rate is $55 an hour. Okay, so how many hours you need to be working on a year base is about 273 hours. Okay, 2,000, excuse me. So let's say you do, I did this for a client who doesn't teach yoga, but she does other stuff. So she usually works about 3 hours per client. So that means on a daily base, she needs to be seeing, about 2.8 clients a day. Okay, or quote unquote working about 8.6 hours. So from here, we can kind of figure out, okay, what's more efficient? Bumping up by $5 our hourly rate. And now instead of working with 2.8 clients, we're only working with 2.6. And then instead of working almost 9 hours, we're working just shy of 8 hours a day. So this is the kind of stuff that you're able to track your business and really get a hone in on, like, okay, how can I work smarter and not necessarily harder?
Yeah, and I think that brings a great point about planning, because there's no business without planning. Which is, if you know how much you want to make, if you know how much you need to work to make what you want to make, then you track back, you do the opposite calculation for your marketing efforts. So obviously, I look at this as the marketing side of things, for businesses. So if you know that you need to have 2.5 clients a day, right? So one day you see 2 clients, the other day you see 3 clients, or maybe you see 2 clients, but you spend a little bit more time with them, or you readjust your rates, then you have to think, well, how do I get 2 clients a day? So how do I talk to 10, 12 people a week, right? And or if you know your closing rate, and you know that 1 out of 3 people that you talk to will be able to convert into a paying client, then you need to be reaching out to about 35 to 40 clients a week. So what are you going to do in a marketing effort for being able to talk to 40 clients a week, prospects a week, and turning them into about 12 paying clients, right? Or how many packages do you need to sell? So you start thinking about smart ways to work, smart ways to sell your marketing offerings. Should I be packaging? Because if you package and then you're seeing the same customers for 3 months, then you have a less effort into bringing these clients in. But then that's a totally separate discussion, I think. But these numbers help you start brainstorming about your marketing funnel, your sales funnel, your life cycle of these clients, and how you could be better in business without just agonizing about the part that is, oh, I don't have enough money to make ends meet this month, I need to find another job, or I can move into a full-time yoga position, because you don't have that planning. And I think the other thing that came to my mind while you were showing the spreadsheets, specifically the profit and loss, that once you have all of this organized, you're going to be able to see, the evolution of your business month to month and year after year. And there's going to be a point where perhaps you're ready for the next step. You might be ready to get a loan and open up a studio, or open up a home studio, and you need a loan maybe to remodel a part of your house, your garage. I know some people have garage yoga, it is amazing. Or I've heard of someone that is redoing their deck to have a really nice space for weekend classes. In that way, you have this information, and actually you can bring it to the bank and show to them, this is my progression, and this is what I'm looking at as far as goals for the next year. And it makes it a lot easier for you to negotiate with other people, and people that are not necessarily on the yoga community, that don't know about you, but numbers online. So they can look at these numbers, they can look at your statement, and they know right away, okay, this is the amount of loan that you could get, grow your business. Anyways, there's so much opportunity in having things organized. It's just a matter of how you look at the information. So
Totally.
this is my vision for what you just showed.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Like you can't measure something unless you have something that's measurable, and numbers are always measurable. So that's why I love to like nerd out on this stuff. And yeah, maybe we can post this spreadsheet somewhere so people have access to it.
For
And
sure.
if someone wants like a little bit more information on how to actually go through this, we can figure something out and help them get that stuff situated as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to post the link to where we're going to house this spreadsheet. So it'll be on the link. So if you're watching this video, click on the link at the bottom in the comments and take a look and download the spreadsheet and all the information on how to get, you know, any more advice from Sam. It's going to be in there. And for sure, I mean, you're here. You're going to be tagged on this post. So we're available. We're here. We're reachable. We're humans. Just, you know, get in touch. So all right, so this is a great session. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, well, we're definitely excited to keep kind of launching these videos. Please let us know what you guys want to hear. Let us know what's relevant, what's on your mind. You have myself, Sabrina, and we can always leverage other experts in the field as well. So just let us know.
All right,
We're
well,
here
thank you so much. Have an amazing day,
Of course,
Sam.
have a good one. You too.